who they are, where they live. They own cats, they're black belts. One's a literature professor. One is involved with Ringling School of Art and Design. Real place, by the way. I thought it was a joke. I mean, all of his friends. We find his parents, where they live, that he's got no felonies or serious lawsuits. We found his cell phone and traced that. And then we went into the marketing databases and we found out he likes Mexican food and Thai food. He used to go to this place near Cryptic Studios called Hobie's or Hobbies? Hobie's, and he used to eat there a lot. They had a sandwich called the Rick, not really, but almost. And then one moment of confusion. We find there's going to be a launch party for his book, Geek Mafia, which he had just written at that point. Good book, and we're going to be giving it out for free in about 2 minutes. And I find this guy. That is you? Okay. Is that you? Okay, but it sure looks like him. A freakish resemblance, like separated at birth. But one is Rick Dakin and the other is Kyle Cross. And Rick had said, well, you might find some interesting things out about me, and one thing in particular. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I told you about it. But maybe, aha, an alias, another life. But then I ran Kyle Cross and I found out that when Rick was in California, Kyle Cross was in Washington, was in Florida, and it wasn't him. So, to summarize, in 4.5 hours, Rick's name, address, everywhere he ever lived, everywhere he ever worked, all of his friends, his religion, his sexual orientation, his date of birth, his social security number, his freaking astrological sign, basically everything he does, everything he likes, whatever. Real world example on Rick. I always wanted to say this, but wait, there's more. After Rick and I did this, we got to be friends, mainly because he figured he better be my friend. I know everything about him. But we really did get to be good friends, and we started talking about doing a project together. And Rick called me up, and he said, I got a great idea. You know, when we meet, I'm going to talk to you about it. And he says, let's do a book where you investigate me. I try to stop you. But we have to do it differently since you've... And we tossed it around, and we figured out, and if you know me and Rick, this is even going to be funnier, but even if you don't, we made a bet. The bet is Rick tries to hide. I try to find him. I mean, actually find him. You are at this location right now, or tag you're it, or that sort of thing. If Rick can stay hidden for 60 days, he wins. And I have to vote straight Democrat in the next election. And trust me, you would see on Google News, private investigator jumps off bridge before that happens. If Rick stays hidden for 60 days, he wins. If I can find him 10 times in the year, I win. And he has to vote straight Republican. And you would basically see novelist jumps off bridge before that happens. So we made this bet, and Rick, and this really happened. We put a year into this. We're done. We put a, huh? Right. We finished, when did I come back from Belize? When was the Church of Cthulhu thing? No, I'll explain that. I'll explain that in a second. When was that? Okay, we finished in December. Right. So what happened is he really tried to hide. He got offshore bank accounts and credit cards and phony names and stayed. I mean, it was his excuse for staying with every girl he ever met. But he got a fake place and he started dealing. I mean, dropped phones and everything. I mean, he really tried. And I caught him pretty easily a couple of times, and I'll tell you about some of the busts. We wrote a book about it, by the way, called Stealing Your Own Identity. There's a website up, and you can register for the book, and we'll give you autographed copies if you register. And yes, I am shilling this, and I've never done this before, but if I stood here till midnight, I couldn't cover all the stuff, so yeah, there's really a reason for the book. And here's some of the busts I did. And by the way, we called a truce after the 9th bust, so we can both vote our consciences and basically cancel each other out, I'm sure. So the truth is we should probably, you know, go out for dinner on election day and not even bother. And then I'll sneak out and vote, but never mind. So here's what I did. Let me tell you about some of these busts. Rick is an author, and he sells a lot of his own books. He's got like a house full of books. And he services Amazon, and he services people who go to his website. So I set up a dummy email account. I started emailing him as a bookstore owner, as an obnoxious British bookstore owner. But in each of these things, I tried to be fair. And I called myself Rusty Shackelford. And he didn't know, because he's not a TV watcher, he didn't know who Rusty Shackelford is. He doesn't know that's the Prince of Paranoia from King of the Hill.